Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I know you might be expecting a top 50 video from me today, but I had to take a quick break because I'm going to GenCon. GenCon is one of the biggest board game conventions in the country, and I'm so excited to play a ton of games and meet a ton of people. So if you want to know the games at GenCon 2022 that I'm most looking forward to, and the people I want to play them with, then might I suggest? Hi, I'm Alex from Might I Suggest a Game, a channel devoted to helping you find your perfect board game. Today, we're talking all things GenCon. This is my first time going to this massive convention, so I'm really excited to just get the lay of the land and see what happens. Now, I've been seeing a lot of most anticipated games videos floating around for GenCon, and so I wanted to put a little twist on mine. So I'm going to be talking about my top 5 games that I'm really looking forward to playing, and I'm going to talk about 5 creators that are going to GenCon that I would really love to play them with. I'll give a little bit more reasoning when I get into it, but for me, GenCon is just as much a networking event as it is a game convention. After all, board games is a social event, and as a mega extrovert, I'm really into it. Plus, I got these new t-shirts so everybody can know who I am.
Hey, Blard. Wow, nice shirt.
So if you see me around at GenCon, I'd be happy to suggest a game for you. And if you see this shirt and you're like, I could get into some Might I Suggest merch, let me know down below in the comments and maybe I'll make a few more. And while you're there, don't forget to hit subscribe and that little bell button so you can get notified when I post new content. Anyways, let's get into it. Will one of these new games from GenCon be the perfect game for you? Or will one of these creators be the perfect one for you to follow? Let's find out, shall we? The first game that I'm looking forward to, and these are in no particular order, is Green Team Wins from 25th Century Games. Green Team Wins is a silly social party game for up to 12 players that's all about getting the most popular answer. From what I've heard, the gameplay reminds me of kind of a Family Feud or Herd Mentality, or even one of those Jackbox party games, all of which I really enjoy, so this one seems right up my alley. I'm always looking for games to play with higher player counts and games that are easy to teach to new players, and this seems like it checks all of those boxes. I also love that the game kind of has this 90s aesthetic going on, and I heard that at GenCon they were going to be selling it with these special edition fanny packs as well. I gotta get my hands on one of those. Anyways, this game seems chaotic and fun and a great way to meet new people at GenCon, so I am all in. But there are a few people specifically that I would really love to play this game with. It's the crew from the Board Game Barrage podcast. The Board Game Barrage podcast is one of my favorite listens. I love tuning in week to week to see what new games they've played and get their hot takes on games both new and old. I really appreciate their perspective even though I don't always agree with them, and I also really like their sense of humor. So if you're looking for a really great board game podcast, might I suggest Board Game Barrage. And don't just take my word for it, they won the Golden Geek Award for Best Board Game Podcast this year. Anyways, I know Kellen mentioned this in his most anticipated games for GenCon, so I really hope I can get it to the table and get to meet those guys in person. So anyways, here's to hoping I get to play Green Team Wins with the folks from Board Game Barrage. Alright, the next one up is Wildstyle from Pandasaurus Games. Pandasaurus has been doing some really cool games with some really cool themes lately, and this one is no exception. The first thing that drew me in was the awesome art on the cover. It's got a style that is all its own, and it doesn't remind me of any other board game, which I think is a big plus. Then the theme is all about running around the city and spraying your graffiti, and I just think that's super compelling and totally different. Now, Wildstyle is a real-time set collection game for 2 to 5 players, where you'll be racing the other players to collect the right sets so that you can spray your tags all over the city. It seems super fast and chaotic, which sounds like a recipe for fun in my book. The question is, who am I going to play this game with? Well, I think this game would be super fun to play with Dani Standring. Dani is an awesome creator. She's basically famous on TikTok and Instagram. She's badass, she's hilarious, and I know she can appreciate something chaotic. I feel like if we played this game, we could either become best friends or mortal enemies, but I'm willing to take that chance. Plus, she's an F1 fan and she does this whole series about racing games, and even though this one isn't technically a racing game, because it's real time, I feel like it could qualify and it might make it on her series later on. So if you want to have a laugh and you want to learn about some cool board games, then might I suggest following Dani Standring. I'll link to her socials below in the description. And if you want to get your graffiti on and play an awesome real-time game, then might I suggest Wildstyle. Alright, the next game on my list is actually an expansion to one of my favorite games from last year. It's Picture Perfect, the Sherlock expansion from Arcane Wonders. Now, I've talked about Picture Perfect a number of times on this channel. It's a super fun deduction and memory game that's really easy to teach and really fun to play with new and veteran players alike. And just when I thought this game couldn't get any better, they decided to sprinkle in a little bit of Sherlock in there. Now, I am a huge fan of everything Sherlock, and I love Picture Perfect, so as soon as I saw this, it was a no-brainer. I definitely need to check this one out. And that's all well and good, but who am I going to play this game with? Well, when I thought about the theme of Picture Perfect and taking that perfect picture, all I could think about is Tim Chuon. Tim Chuon is a videographer and photographer on YouTube who makes these amazing cinematic board game videos and tutorials that will blow your mind. But one thing I really like about Tim is he's always giving back to the community. He posts these videos with photography and videography tips so that your videos can look like his. I've definitely taken some tips from his videos to try to make my videos look better, and I really appreciate learning about all of his expertise. Plus, he also runs an awesome Discord channel with Sam over at Lord of the Board, another channel that you should check out, called Fire and Ice, and it's been an awesome channel to be a part of and just talk about board games all the time. Now, I'm not really sure Picture Perfect is up Tim's alley, but if anyone's going to take a perfect picture, it's definitely going to be him. And if it's not this game, I hope it's something else. Tim just seems like a really nice guy, so I just want to meet up and get to know him a little bit after our few interactions online. Anyways, if you're looking for an amazing board game, videography, and photography channel on YouTube, then might I suggest subscribing to Tim Chuon. And if you're looking for an expansion to one of my favorite games of last year, Picture Perfect, then might I suggest Picture Perfect, the Sherlock expansion. The next one up is a really weird and interesting abstract game from Hachette Games called In the Palm of Your Hand. Now, in this game, you're trying to get other players to guess these art cards, similar to a Dixit or a Mysterium, but the way that you do that is totally different. One player is going to have the art card in their hand, and then they're going to select from this bank of 11 3D objects to place in the palm of another player's hand in order to represent what's in the picture. These 3D objects include things like a ring, a coin, a string, a little person, a block, and all kinds of other shapes to try to represent abstractly what's on the card. Then once the player's done constructing their little sculpture in the palm of that player's hand, they're going to put the correct card in a tableau of other cards and see if they can guess which one it really was. Now, this concept just seems really crazy to me. I don't even really know how it's going to work out, but I love games that try something completely new. And so I'm really excited about this one. Typically, I find abstract art games to drag on a little too long, or to feel too similar to something else I've played. So I'm hoping this new take on it will refresh the entire genre for me.
Genre, 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 genre. Genres.
But the real question is, who should I play this one with? I think I want to play this one with someone who is an expert at family weight games. It's JP from Little Big Thumbs. Little Big Thumbs is an awesome channel on YouTube and Instagram that talks a lot about family games and children's games. I'm always checking out the channel to get new recommendations for what I need to preemptively buy for Samson once he's old enough. Plus, I also appreciate how much he includes his kids in the videos. When Samson gets a little bit older, I hope to include him in the same way. Anyways, JP and I have been friends on Instagram for a long time, and he just seems like the kind of guy that I'd get along with. So hopefully we get to meet at GenCon. Anyways, if you're looking for an awesome feed for children's games and family weight games, as well as some reviews for the grown-ups too, then might I suggest subscribing to Little Big Thumbs. I'll link to his socials down in the description. And if you're looking for a weird new take on Dixit that promises to stretch that abstract part of your brain, then might I suggest In the Palm of Your Hand. Okay, the last one on my list is another family weight game called Planted, a game of nature and nurture from Buffalo Games. Now, I don't know too much about this game, but let me tell you about the things that really drew me in about this one. First off, I think the houseplant theme is really great, and I also think the quality of the components and the art back it up. Second, this promises to be an easy-to-teach, easy-to-learn game. Now, Buffalo Games has also previously published another game by Phil Walker Harding called Summer Camp. I enjoyed that one, and I thought it was a really great introduction to deck building, so I'm hoping that Planted does the same thing and introduces new players to different board game mechanics. I'm always looking for games that can bring new players to the table, and so I definitely want to check this one out, especially because I think the houseplant theme can really draw people in. And lastly, like I mentioned before, this game was designed by Phil Walker Harding. He's designed some of my favorite games like Baron Park and Sushi Go, and of course Summer Camp, which I mentioned earlier. So I think he has a pretty good track record for me to at least want to check out his games. But now that I'm checking out this awesome game, who should I play it with? Well, let me tell you, I know most of what I know about Planted from watching the live playthrough on Meeple University's channel. So I would love to try to play this game with Stella and Terrence from Meeple University. I mean, they've already played the game, so they can hopefully at least teach me the rules. Stella and Terrence have a bunch of Meeple University branded channels that do a lot of cool live streams and playthroughs, as well as tutorials. Plus, Stella's always making awesome shorter content for TikTok and Instagram. These folks were one of the first in line to support my channel from day one, and they've been nothing but helpful for me to try to figure out how to do this content creation thing. Another reason why I wanted to play Planted with them is because Phil Walker Harding, I'm pretty sure, is Australian, and Stella and Terrence, they live in Australia. Can you believe it? They're traveling all the way from Australia to go to GenCon. I know they'll probably be really jet lagged after that trip, but I'm hoping to at least say hi and maybe get a chance to play Planted with them. So if you want to tune into some awesome board game content on the regular, then you should definitely check out Meeple University. I'll link to all their socials below. And if you're interested in a simple, relaxing game about houseplants, then might I suggest Planted. Thanks so much for tuning in to my GenCon preview episode. I'll make sure to keep you all updated on the games I play and the people I meet in Indianapolis. And to be fair, this top 5 doesn't really do justice to the list of all the games that I have. Here's some of my honorable mention. Galileo Project, Sink or Swim, Next Station London, Arc Nova, of course, a Goofy movie game, oh that one sounds fun, Almost Innocent, Tenpenny Parks, and one from BoardGameTables.com called Psychic Pizza Deliverers Go to the Ghost Town. I don't think I've heard a better name for a game in my entire life. Anyway, stay tuned to my other social channels for live updates on what's happening at GenCon. And as always, I really appreciate you watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so I can keep growing this channel and keep helping you find your perfect board game. Once again, this has been a Might I Suggest a Game production, and I'm Alex, your board game sommelier, signing off.